Alright, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a reaction video to Scotty Kilmer. For those who don't know, he is a self-proclaimed 51-year mechanic. He is legitimately a mechanic, I would say. He did have a TV show on CBS some years back. It was like 2008-ish. He did win an Emmy at some point. I did used to be subbed to the channel, but over time it started to look like he had a bias towards certain vehicles, and sometimes he says stuff that makes perfectly good sense, and then on the other hand it's like stuff that sounds weird that doesn't really make sense at all. So it's kind of confusing, but we're just gonna get into it.
Your engine! Alright, here we have a man that didn't listen to me. I always say don't buy used Infinities, but paid $7,500 for it. Right off the bat, I can see that he used his noggin, cause the biggest problems with these things are their automatic transmissions. So we can throw that right in the garbage can because this is a 6-speed standard train.
Actually, no, you can't throw that away. There are shitty manuals with shitty clutches, and you could say maybe it's not that expensive, but he doesn't know what the labor is for that specific vehicle. Some vehicles are very labor intensive, and he says a 6-speed manual, so it's not like he's familiar with the car where he's saying these manuals are good. He's just saying it's a manual, so it's good to go.
It's rare that you're going to find an 07 from the original owner, but if you do, of course, that's an even better scenario. He drove it around, you can see that it's running pretty good. Let's start up. Now I like it because it's old school. It's still got a key. We don't have to deal with all that computer crap breaking.
You know what I mean? Like, what car doesn't have a key besides a Tesla? And I know someone's probably going to say he's talking about the push button without the ignition. But even these keys still do have chips in them. So you do still have to deal with those computer problems with them breaking.
Customer back in Houston, he bought a used one, late model one, had the fancy key. The system broke. It cost him $1,500 at the Infinity dealer. Much nicer to have a regular old.
See, this is what I'm talking about. He's basing a situation about a key off of his idiot customer that was dumb enough to pay $1,500 for a new key at the dealership. Nobody's that stupid, and if they are, that's his idiot customer. He likes to compare how good something is to what his idiot customer did. If anyone's stupid enough to pay $1,500 for an Infinity key, even at a dealership, that's kind of on them. That has nothing to do with the key. You can get screwed at any car dealership.
What do we have? Available 3.5 V6. These are very reliable engines. You can hear it's pretty quiet. All the Nissan Infinity engines, as they age, you get a little bit of cam noise. It's nothing. A little rolling noise. For the mileage and the age, this is what you want to hear. You don't want to hear them clanging along. And although it has less horsepower that way, I like the single systems. The modern ones, they got dual air boxes, dual mass airflow sensors. Twice the amount of crap that can go wrong when they break.
Yes, that's right. But it also has twice as much air, and that means each bank gets its own individual source of air. So in theory, the car should actually have cleaner air on each bank, and it should have more air on each bank, which means more efficiency overall, and to some extent better cooling, in theory. And also, an air filter and MAF sensor don't take that long to change. It's not more than 10 minutes each.
And they have massive brakes on them. People love drifting these things. But me, I've been driving cars for 53 years. He paid $7,500.
Wait, what the what did that have to do with anything? It was like, people love drifting these cars. I've been driving for 53 years. That was like two totally irrelevant.
Let's get the machine out and see what it says about the health of this machine. Alright, so we can see the only red thing is the BCM and the ABS. So we'll start at the BCM. See this all the time, okay? These codes. They're all no data. See service manual. No data. Vehicle speed signal error. But its speedometer always worked fine. You don't even care about this stuff. It's all just communication errors. Realize there's a bus line. Any minor flaw, it can trip these codes.
That's odd, because I could have sworn in his Mercedes video when that car tripped codes, he was like,
now take this beautiful looking Mercedes. It runs good, rides good, but when I hook up this fancy scan tool I have, look at all the red trouble codes that it has. It's just got red trouble codes all over the place. This beautiful looking, and I must admit, beautiful riding vehicle has already 25 separate problems that exist in the car because of all.
I'm pretty sure they are 25 issues, but not 25 individual issues. And as a mechanic, he knows better, and he knows that a car can give off multiple faults for one issue, such as the door being open. Something as stupid as that can show as a fault, depending on the vehicle.
You got slow speed data, you got mid speed data, you got high speed data, and they'll often screw up minor things like this. It doesn't mean anything.
See, this is what I'm talking about with the bias. He didn't have that energy for the Mercedes. He's with an Infiniti and with the customer, and he's like, oh, well, they throw codes, it's minor. The Mercedes video, he's like, oh, this car's terrible, all these issues, all these problems, don't buy a Mercedes. And by the way, I'm not a Mercedes fanboy at all. I'm diehard like Lexus Toyota person, so I have no dog in that fight, but fair is fair.
And the ABS code, well, that was because the guy has messed with the sensors, the tire pressure monitoring system, and it shows codes for that, but...
Oh my God, no they don't. ABS module and tire pressure monitoring system are two totally different systems on different modules. They don't communicate with each other at all, not the way he's describing it. Definitely not on that car. Your tire pressure light comes on for tire pressure sensors, or air, or lack of. ABS light comes on based on from your ABS module and your ABS wheel speed sensors, or anything associated to your stability control or traction control, and occasionally your check engine light, because that communicates with those systems depending on the vehicle. But definitely not for your tire pressure sensors. And he should know this. 51 years, bro. 51 years.
So let's take it for a spin. It's coming off. Okay, here we go. And, oh, we're sliding all over the road because it's wet. Oh, because it's wet. Oh, because it's wet.
I know. She said that.
We're losing grip. It's too fast for today. Well, it gives you an idea how fast it is. You got to know what you're doing when you're driving these things. They do have traction control, but he turned the traction control off. For those of you who are wondering, why does it slip? It's got traction control. It does, but he turned it off. That's the deal of these cars. You want to drive them that way, you can turn it off. Now, if you're going to ride these things in the rain, you want to get some good tires that really have traction in the back, because this thing has a lot of power.
Bro, what are you talking about? Who's driving seriously in the rain? He's talking about getting good tires. If it's wet outside, it doesn't really matter how good your tires are, especially on a rear-wheel drive car, which you just said had a lot of power. So that doesn't make sense at all to any capacity, especially on the road and not a track. Unless you're talking about serious high-performance tires that you would be using at a track, but you're talking about for regular use. No one's like, oh, it's raining today, time to hit some back roads. That's not happening.
In it, and you need really good traction if you're going to drive it seriously in the rain. The birds are coming, the birds are coming. When I say birds of a feather flock together, this is a dark car and those are dark birds. To get over 100,000 miles, I've never seen an Infiniti go over 150, 160 that it didn't need the catalytic converters replaced.
Now that he's right about. Nissan was known for having like garbage cat converters on their Nissan Infiniti products around 2004 to 2009. Maybe longer than that, but I know around that time frame that car was out in those mid-2000s.
They didn't build them all that well for some reasons on the Infinitis and the Nissans, and they eat up catalytic converters, which cost a small fortune. And here's some bonus questions and answers.
Nah, I'm good. I just wanted to show some of the inconsistencies and inaccuracies in the videos. And for him to be a 51-year mechanic, it's just kind of weird to hear him say something like, oh, well, your ABS light is on because your tire pressure monitoring system. That's like telling someone that they had a heart attack because they hit their leg on the corner of a bed frame. Totally unrelated. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'll try to do more reaction videos just in general, not specifically for his content, but I hope you enjoyed it.